The NATO summit was initially intended to prepare the West for Donald Trump's potential second term, commemorate the alliance's 75th anniversary, and establish long-term military support for Ukraine. However, with President Joe Biden's re-election campaign at a crossroads following a disastrous debate performance, no one anticipated that this week's meeting in Washington would turn into a public examination of the 81-year-old's health and cognitive abilities. Biden's leadership of NATO and his support for Ukraine following Russia's attack have made him the most significant presidential trustee of the alliance since President George H.W. Bush. Despite his accomplishments, such as facilitating Sweden and Finland's entry into NATO, the summit will focus on his fight to save his political future. Every action and statement of Biden will be scrutinized, especially in unscripted moments. After his perceived incoherence at the CNN debate in Atlanta last month left a lasting impression on 50 million viewers. On Thursday, Biden will be under immense pressure to appear energetic and clear-headed at a solo news conference. Any signs of confusion or weakness could undermine his campaign and fuel Democratic panic. The president can expect tough questions about his health, medical records, and transparency, particularly from journalists dissatisfied with the White House's handling of the debate fallout. Democrats will also closely watch the press conference, demanding that Biden demonstrate he is fit to serve a second term. Sen. Patty Murray emphasized the urgency for Biden to show a forceful and energetic presence on the campaign trail to convince voters of his suitability. Her strong statement underscored Biden's vulnerable position, highlighting the importance of preserving his legacy and securing it for the future. Biden's performance will also be significant to international leaders. His advancing age is not just a political issue. It has implications for the West. As he stands as a barrier against Trump's potential return, which could lead to a weakened NATO. World leaders will use the summit to assess Biden's capacity and the political future of the United States. Kurt Volker, a former U.S. ambassador to NATO, noted that allies would seek assurances about Biden's political and strategic plans, considering the potential for Trump's return and its impact on U.S. support for NATO and Ukraine. While foreign diplomats and governments refrain from commenting publicly on Biden's situation, there is underlying concern. European leaders will be polite but aware of the critical nature of Biden's performance. However, U.S. officials dismiss any concerns, emphasizing Biden's effective leadership and the positive view foreign leaders have of him over the past 3 years. National Security spokesman John Kirby stated that allies are not concerned about Biden's capabilities. Despite Biden's political crisis, the essential national security substance of the summit is expected to proceed unaffected. Diplomats and military officials have been preparing for months, focusing on institutionalizing aid to Ukraine and defining its future relationship with NATO. A draft text of the summit communiqué describes Ukraine's path to membership as irreversible, underscoring the summit's strategic importance. As Biden battles to remain his party's candidate, his leadership is under intense scrutiny. Representative Adam Smith argued that the president's inability to effectively deliver his message could jeopardize the Democratic Party's hold on the House, Senate, and presidency, calling for Biden to step down. The White House has resisted calls for a new cognitive test for Biden and has not fully explained the involvement of a Parkinson's specialist in his medical care, leading to further speculation. Biden has sought to use the summit to showcase his leadership and success, particularly his role in strengthening and expanding NATO. However, His challenges are compounded by the ongoing conflict in Ukraine and Trump's continued influence. Biden's campaign has highlighted his achievements and contrasted them with Trump's controversial stance on NATO and Russia. The summit will not only test Biden but also other politically weakened NATO leaders, including French President Emmanuel Macron, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, and Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. The juxtaposition of Biden's age with younger leaders like Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni and French President Emmanuel Macron further emphasizes the challenges he faces. Biden has been a steadfast guide for NATO since Russia's invasion of Ukraine and has made the survival of global democracy a cornerstone of his presidency. However, his immediate priority at the summit is to secure his own political future.